We're here for the launch of our manifesto. Pretty big day.
The manifesto was sort of consulted on last year with young people all around the country, and they chose the 5 points they want the newly elected government of this year to sort of acknowledge and change.
It was written by young people for young people, which I think is really important.
The campaign I'm supporting is equal pay for equal work. If you're 22 and you get the national minimum wage, you get paid £300 more than a 16 and 17-year-old, and that's clearly unfair. And we at the British Youth Council believe that young people deserve to get paid equal minimum wage for the same sort of work they're doing.
Well, I have my own personal experience of working on the national minimum wage when I was under 21, and I was on a different wage to people who were over 21, and it seemed to me really unjust and it was really unmotivating. I felt, well, I shouldn't work as hard as them, they're paid more. It seemed really a really silly system, and I think that if there is a national minimum wage, then it should be equal for everybody.
I've been paid a minimal wage of sort of £4.50. And I worked with co-workers who are older than me, and they got something like £5.80.
Equal work for equal pay, I think it's an underwriting principle that we should stick behind. I think it's an outrage that in this country, in the 21st century, that young people are treated as second-class citizens when it comes to work.
I'm here to campaign on the Votes at 16. NUS is committed to Votes at 16. We believe that our members should have the democratic right to participate in elections. We know lots of our members and BYC members are actively involved in their communities, volunteering, getting engaged in campaigns or single issues. So we believe there is the demand from young people to participate in elections, and it's about time that they had their right to vote. The BYC, NUS and a number of other organisations are all part of the Votes at 16 coalition, and actually today the cooperative group have joined the coalition calling for Votes at 16, which is great news. We've long said that young people have to pay taxes, participate in the army, are very active in their local communities, so they should equally have a right to have a say on some of the issues that affect them. Youth unemployment's a big issue for our membership at the moment. Why shouldn't young people have a right to say how that affects them and what policies they'd like to see from the main political parties? Young people need to get engaged in their local communities. We have citizenship education. Now it's time to give people the practical experience of voting and having a direct say over who governs this country and who makes issues and laws on their behalf.
The campaign we're supporting today is All Aboard for Affordable Travel, and we at BYC believe that 16 to 25-year-olds should have a national concessions card for all public transport, railways, buses and local trains.
83% of young people told us that if public transport was cheaper, they'd use it a lot more, and that's really important to us. There's a lot of young people that are still in education and training, which obviously we're trying to encourage, so it only makes sense that we provide an affordable public transport service so that we're able to get to education, to be able to get to training, to be able to get to work.
It's not about the distance you're travelling, it's about the cost.
A lot of people do have access to a young person's rail card on the railways and can get real discounts on that and can find it affordable to get across the country to different areas of the country to visit friends and family, things like that. But then transport within their own community is often a lot more expensive, and I certainly find myself that it's difficult for me to be able to afford public transport, and I'm in employment and I am earning money, so I dread to think what that must be like for a lot of people who are only working part-time or who are studying.
The campaign that I feel quite strongly about is to end child poverty by 2020. I think it's not right that despite being one of the wealthiest nations in Europe, the UK has a massive poverty rate. That is 1 in 3 children in the UK live in poverty. What a lot of people don't realise is that child poverty actually costs the UK £25 billion a year, which is a massive amount of money that could be spent on a lot of other things. And it wouldn't just benefit the economy, it would make our society so much more equal in the long term, and it would mean that children are no longer trapped by poverty and their opportunities wouldn't be so limited and their lives would be so different. Children are the future for our society, so it seems right that we should take a bit of responsibility for that and try and end poverty now.
The campaign I'm representing today is all about youth, young people's minds and their mental health. The level of health provisions for young people is just not appropriate, or it's not age appropriate, and it's also it's not accessible at all. They just not only don't know where to go, but when they go there isn't the level of service that they need in order to, you know, help them as much as possible. The transition between teenage into adulthood is a really big issue because there isn't services that are particularly aimed around that area and that age group. And so, for example, less than 5% of teenagers who go into adulthood are getting the right and appropriate level of service to help them through that quite difficult stage in their life. There just isn't a willingness among young people to actually talk about the problems that they have, and hopefully, given more investment from the government, they'll be able to really get that message across.
Really important issues for quite a cross-section of backgrounds and ideas and philosophies. So I think it's really exciting that young people are interested in all those different kinds of things.
It's been a good day, yeah. It's fun, yeah, it's a new experience.
I think it's amazing that we're able to voice our opinions.
I think it's very exciting to see so many passionate and enthusiastic youngsters who have created a manifesto which is in their own best interests, because I think they're fed up now with waiting for other people to address the things that really matter to them.
It's a great manifesto. It's well thought out. The room was full of young people who had loads to say and lots to contribute, so it was really important that I was here today.
These are messages that young people have been saying for a long time anyway, and I'm just really glad that the British Youth Council kind of put them together and made them sort of into a manifesto that we can kind of go out and promote now. So absolutely I'll be taking these back and doing everything I can to make sure that they are right at the top of the parliamentary agenda.
It's not just about sending a message to Westminster, it's about sending a message to the whole country. Young people are not apathetic, they do care about politics. We can see that from all of you here today, that politics is important to young people and they want to see these issues addressed.
They've been saying that this is what they want to do, this is what they want to do, shout out to that building. And I think that's brilliant, that's what BYC is here to do, to support them to do it.